Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. So I want to tell you a little story, and I think I can connect it to the verse that I want uh, to read to you today. So when I was still in high school, but I was a young guy, probably 16, 17 years old. I used to work in this sort of, it was a gas station slash truck stop. We were in the oil field. So it was, I busted a lot of truck flats is what I did. That's what I was really hired to do, was to fix flats. And so I fixed pickup flats, truck flats, 18-wheeler flats. I busted truck flats. Well, there was an old man in town. We were in a small town. And there was an old man in the town who really was homeless, lived in his pickup truck. Everybody knew who he was. Um, just because it was a small town, he used to go down by what we called the scales, and he would sleep there at night. And he would come in. Anyhow, he would come in sometime. He would kind of take a bird bath in our bathroom. He'd sit around and talk to everybody that came into the station there. And he was always, he was always being cheated out of something. Somebody was always cheating him out of something. They say he had money. I don't know. He certainly didn't live like it, but he was always being cheated out of something. Now my grandpa knew him, and my grandpa gave me some wise words one time. He told me this. He said, "You watch the person who always thinks you're cheating them." He said, "Because they're the first person that will turn around and cheat you." And I've just thought about that over the years. Watch the person who's always accusing you of cheating them, because they're the first person that will turn around and cheat you. You see, the people who are the loudest about casting, you know, guilt or casting judgment about other people are probably the first people that are committing the sins and the same sins themselves. Now, the reason I tell that story is because this passage in 2 Corinthians chapter 13 is similar, and it's going to lead me to the verse that I want to get to. In verse 3 of 2 Corinthians 13, you can read it. The people from Corinth were questioning Paul's authority to bring to them the words that he was bringing to them. They wanted proof that Christ was speaking through him. They wanted proof that he was really following Christ and that he was really following God. They were questioning his authority. And so Paul, using this principle of the one who always thinks he's being cheated will be the first one to cheat you, Paul, because they were so adamant that he might not be really following Christ, turned the tables on them that they might not really be following Christ. And he says to them in 2 Corinthians 13, verse 5, he says, "Examine yourselves as to whether you are in the faith. Test yourselves. Do you not know yourselves that Jesus Christ is in you?" He says you need to examine yourselves, and you need to give yourselves a test to make sure that Christ is in you. I'm just passing that on today. We need to examine ourselves today. We need to give ourselves a test today. You need to make sure that you are in the faith and that you are in Christ. Well, how can you do that? I just thought of a few things. Romans 8, and I think it's verses 9 and maybe verse 16. Romans 8 says that the Spirit bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. Is the Spirit of Christ and the Spirit of God inside of you bearing witness with you? Here's the thing about people who are truly born again and truly Christians. They don't question it. They're not perfect. They fail all the time. But they know that they belong to God. Do you have a love for brethren? You could read actually the entire letter of 1 John. It's all about signs that we belong to him. And one of those signs is if we love our brethren. If we hate our brethren, he says, how can the love of God be within you? Do we love the brethren? Do we love the church? Do we love God's people? Do we do righteousness? Do we live in righteousness? Have we been born again? Did we used to be one way and now we're another way? Have we truly been born again and our life now bears the fruits of righteousness, which is a sign? Do you overcome the world? Or are you always being beaten up by the world? Are you always anxious and fearful and just wallowing? Or do you live above the circumstances of life and overcome the things of the world? Because that's a sign that you belong to God. Examine yourselves. Make sure that you are in the faith and make sure that Christ is in you. I pass it on to you today. God bless you guys. Love you. Get out there in faith this day. Bye.